Welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine.
I'm Gray Mars.
And I'm D White.
Today on the new party, we are talking about where the Democratic Party will be going moving forward now that President Joe Biden has announced officially on July 21st that he was resigning or that he was removing himself from the race. Now, sources are telling me that there is a high probability we are going to see a resignation shortly. Right now, I think we're living history right now in the making. I think it's very interesting that the Democratic Party did not allow another contender to fairly run against Joe Biden. We have some clips that we're going to talk about, and we're going to talk about where we're at this point. The first clip that I'm going to show is Mr. RFK Jr. speaking on how the DNC blocked him from running fairly against Joe Biden. We'll talk about that and get into the next clips after.
Yeah, I think it was a strategic mistake by the Democrats, Jesse, and you and I have talked about this before. But they got rid of they changed the primary rules while while we were running the primary. They changed 60 different rules to make it impossible for anybody to challenge Joe Biden. One of the things that you remember that they did to me is I've been campaigning in New Hampshire, so they adopted a rule that said that any political candidate, any Democratic candidate who campaigns in New Hampshire, who steps foot into the state of New Hampshire, that all of their votes would go to the president, all of their delegates would go to the president instead of going to that. And then they shut down the Florida primary. They shut down a bunch of primaries, just said, we're not running them. We already have our candidate. You know, a few weeks ago, President Biden was ridiculing Vladimir Putin, who won 8.
So, I mean, I think that it's very unfair what they did to RFK. Maybe he would not have won against Joe Biden, but I think they should have allowed a fair election. I'm going to let D. White kick us off because this is his first time reacting to Biden dropping out the race with us.
Yeah, I think that is absolutely a threat to democracy, what the Democrats did. You know, they love saying that it was Trump, but right in front of us, they pulled all the strings and rigged it in front of us. They didn't do it behind closed doors. They didn't try to hide anything. Right. They did it right to our face. They said, we picked the guy who we're going to use. We don't care what the people have to say. We don't care about what the constituents have to say about it. This is the guy who you guys get. Like it and just deal with it. I feel like RFK was actually a viable candidate. I am a registered Republican, but I do like RFK. I like a lot of things he had to say, and he made a great point in his clip. And now, you know, from the mistakes that they made, they stuck with it and have to deal with it. So, you know, that's their own fault. Maybe next election cycle we'll get a free and fair election. What do you think, Mr. Gray?
With RFK, I don't know when he went from Democrat to independent, but he wasn't getting enough votes anyway. So Joe Biden, the incumbent, doesn't have to debate. And even Trump came out and said that he wasn't doing well enough in the polls for him to be on the stage with him and Joe Biden. So on both sides, they didn't want him there. It was between them two. And as far as, you know, I voted for Joe Biden in the primary. So for me, I'm a little bit offended that they just taking away my vote and say, okay, you just have to stick with Kamala, because I wouldn't have voted for Kamala. So I do, as a Democrat who voted in the primary, have an issue with that. But RFK, to me, he's just a joke. Like, I don't know what, he's just trying to get elected off his last name. What about you, Nora?
Well, I mean, I'm looking at your comments that you guys are all making, and it's vote blue no matter who. So why does it matter? I already told you guys a vote for Joe Biden was a vote for Kamala Harris. So it amazes me that everyone is now upset that she's going to be the contender. Well, there are those that are upset that she's going to be the contender, when either way you were potentially voting for her. Like, the reality is Joe Biden is a very sick old man. And the reality is he wasn't going to make it another 4 years. Sources are telling me that he's very sick. He's sicker than we may even realize. So I don't know why it's such a shocker. I think that this is a threat to democracy. They didn't allow a fair election. Not only did they take people's votes, they took people's campaign funds. My own mother donated to Joe Biden's campaign in the last week. The following day, he stepped out the race. She said, "Where's my money going?" And that's another thing that we're going to talk about. What happened to the money that he raised? I mean, I think it amazes me that they campaigned, they raised thousands and thousands and millions of dollars. And where's the money going? They promised people that it was going to Joe Biden. This next clip, it happens to what happens to the millions of dollars raised for Joe Biden.
Dollars that the Biden campaign has raised can only be used by Kamala Harris remaining on the ticket. She was not voted into this role. She is a de facto candidate by virtue of spending power. If it is not Kamala on the ticket, this fund goes to the party, for which only $32 million can be coordinated with the candidate's campaign. The Democratic Party has abandoned any semblance of being a legitimate party for the common man, all in the name of defeating one man, Donald Trump. And even there, they are not being sincere. They want a retail politician that they can control and also one that can beat Donald Trump. This is an impossible dual task. As a lifelong progressive Democrat, I am ashamed of the party leadership I once supported and deeply sorry to the millions of Americans who have placed their hope in a political machine that does not serve their best interest. I remember the frustration I had the last several years trying to reason with.
Okay, so to be clear, part of it got cut off. And what she said was she spoke to a reputable attorney that was a former attorney for the FCC and FEC. And so she asked him what happens to the money. And so that was the reaction of what she was told. Gray, what do you say to the millions of dollars raised by your party? And people gave it in the hopes that it was going to be Joe Biden as the candidate.
Well, on this channel, we've talked about campaign donations, and we talked about a guy. I don't remember his name, but he spent campaign donations.
Right, Royce White.
Yeah, he spent campaign donations on strippers and partying. So, do I think that may be what the law says? And are people really going to follow that? Is the Democrat Party really going to follow that? I don't believe. Herschel Walker, who ran in Georgia on a runoff, Republicans are still asking him for the money that he raised that he didn't use where he lost. So as far as campaign finances, it's so much that we don't know, and that probably a lot of corruption from everybody on both sides. So I can't tell you whether or not, what she's saying is correct. But as far as the donations go, I think they'll still use it for whoever the candidate is. What do you think, D. White?
Yeah, the first time that they talked about Joe Biden stepping down, that was my first question, was what happens to the money? Because the millions and millions of Americans who donated, or the fat cat politicians, or the powers that be, whoever gave them the money, they gave it to Joe Biden. They did not give it to a third party candidate. They didn't give it to some
Right.
random person that you guys, insert name here. They didn't do that. And I did know that legally that it could only be Joe and Kamala. Those are the only two people who can use those funds, because that's who. Because like Miss Nora said, a vote for Joe is the same as a vote for Kamala. It's the exact same, as long as they're on the ticket together. So now that Joe's stepping down, Kamala does have access to the money. But if they try to pull a coup and get rid of her, because apparently there's still a lot of people who don't like her chances to win in the Democratic Party. I also don't like her chances to win. But the only way that they can keep those funds available is to keep her on the ticket. So we'll see how this plays out. I'm hoping they keep her, because I think it's an easy layup for Trump either way, personally.
Well, the reality is she's a very problematic candidate. RFK commented recently on her, and he sums it up of why she's problematic. It's a short clip I would like to play on his issues with her that sums up why I don't think she's a good candidate and why millions of Democrats probably won't.
Kamala Harris is the party of war. She's a war hawk. The Democratic Party was always the peace party. Kamala Harris is a war hawk on Ukraine. She's a war hawk on China. I think that we should be figuring out ways to coexist with the rest of the world as best we can. Of course, we need to protect our national security. I think she's not going to do anything about the national deficit. I've never heard her speak about the chronic disease epidemic, about, I think she's a product of the corporate control of our democracy. And she's one of the authors of, in terms of civil rights, she has one of the worst civil rights record of any public official. She's the author of one of the primary authors of the school to prison pipeline. She kept 5,000 people despite a Supreme Court order that she.
So Dee, what do you think about that clip on what he said about her?
I wish you could have got that last 10 seconds when he was talking about how Kamala kept people in prison for to fight fires in California, to pick up trash in California. Basically,
oh yeah,
basically slave labor. A lot of people don't know that about her. That's why I think.
Oh, but they will tomorrow. We're going to do an expose on Kamala Harris. Please share it to your family and friends so we can get the truth on who she really is.
And this is why I feel like it's even easier for Trump to win against her than Biden, because at least with Biden, all his dirt has already been exposed. If you haven't heard the dirt about Biden by now, you've been living under a rock, or you chose to not hear it. Either way. But now with Kamala coming out, now we get a whole new set of slanders we get to throw at her. A whole new set. And the worst part about it is all of this is backed up by fact. This isn't like, hey, Joe's sleepy, he might be delusional. You know, that's one way or the other. You can argue one way or the other. But the things that Kamala did, we have trial footage, we have reports from the court, the state, all this stuff. So all of this is fact. And it just hurts. It hurts their chances so much more that they're stuck with her. They didn't want her because she was unpopular. Just like last year when she was running, she was the first person out before any primaries happened.
That part. She had the lowest percentage. She was the first out.
Yeah,
you are right.
First out.
Buttigieg held on the longest. Well, him and Bernie.
Very, very unlikable candidate. Very wishy-washy. She likes to pretend to be black when it's convenient. She's just a whole mess in herself, man. They picked her as a DEI hire, and now it's coming back to bite him in the butt. What do you think, Mr. Gray?
Kamala Harris, this is to you. First, Joe Biden resigned, allow Kamala Harris to be president for 4 months. Kamala Harris say to the world, I need to run the country. I'm going to let Gavin Newsom and Grip Moore, whoever other VP, run a campaign, and I'm going to step to the side. That's what we need for the party. Kamala Harris is an extremely problematic candidate, especially with the
Thank you for admitting it. Thank you, Gray.
Especially for the black community having a record of putting people in prison. And then, she has salacious rumors. I see Candace Owens is calling her names about her past relationships with a mayor and Montel Williams and all these things that's coming up. I never thought Kamala Harris was a good candidate. Her personality when she debated Mike Pence was just kind of demeaning. So I'm hoping that there's an open vote at the DNC and that she just chooses to step aside and we put another candidate up there.
Something that I would like to throw out here is I don't think it's going to be able to be Newsom. From what I'm reading, there could be a legal hurdle that due to the 12th Amendment, because they're from the same state, they both cannot be on the same ticket.
That is a fact. That is 100% fact. They cannot be on the same ticket from the same state.
One or the other. Either the big money is going to get behind Newsom, who I think now if Newsom is the candidate, Trump stands a chance. Even though California is a disastrous place, probably the worst state in the country. You disagree?
Yes. Just all you have to do is just look at California, look at the mass exodus, look at the crime, look at the immigration. Just it's a S-hole. For better words, it is a terrible place, and they're losing lots of revenue. Big companies are all moving out, and if Gavin Newsom was to run, once again, we have all new slanders to throw at somebody, and he doesn't leave lacking. There's a lot of
he is charming. He is not Kamala Harris. He is liked.
His record.
He is Better Call Saul in the flesh. He's a sleazeball attorney-like guy that people like, unfortunately. I think Gavin Newsom would give Trump a run for his money, personality-wise.
Identity politics. I feel like moderate and right-leaning people in the middle see a young white man, and his ex-wife is actually Donald Trump Jr.'s current girlfriend or fiance, whoever she is, and they see a young guy, attractive, successful. I definitely could see white America getting behind him and saying, you know what, let's push Trump to the side. This is what modern Trump looks like, probably even more than Ron DeSantis.
True.
So I think that both identity politics is on both sides. Kamala Harris is the child of immigrants. She's a black woman. I think she stands absolutely zero chance of winning and probably a landslide for Trump if she's the candidate.
Yeah, I agree until the point with Gavin Newsom. Just take a look at it for a second. Right now, where we are as a country, America's doing terrible. Immigration's top of the charts. Inflation's top of the charts. These are all things that people care deeply about. The state of California is a mess. It is a mess with both of those things. The cost of living is atrocious there. The homeless population is the highest anywhere else in America. I think they say that California has 1/3 of all homeless people in our country. 1/3 of them all live in California.
True.
You put that in front of the American people. He looks very presidential. He looks like a politician. He does. He looks young. He talks well. But when you go to hitting those facts and his putting his record out there for everybody to see, I don't think the American people right now at this moment will be willing to accept that nonsense. Not right now.
Well,
What do you go ahead?
Oh no, what are you gonna say? Sorry.
No, I was gonna say, what did you think? Go ahead.
I mean, I think that the path forward is going to be. I don't think we're going to know who their contender is until the DNC. On the live that we did over the weekend, me and Gray announced that the DNC is coming up, the Democratic National Convention. It's the week of August 18th to the 21st in Chicago, Illinois. And from what I'm hearing, they're going to do some sort of roll call where they're going to then pick the person that's running. Gray, have you heard what the DNC is doing as the Democrat in the room?
I haven't heard anything. I've seen donors mainly saying that they don't want to back Kamala Harris, but George Soros and his son has decided to back her. Obama hasn't backed her.
Pelosi finally announced that she's supporting her.
Pelosi, yeah, she said that as well. If you look at the polls, and I know they're looking at the polls, they know Kamala doesn't stand a chance. And I feel like if you're going to get rid of Joe Biden, get rid of Kamala too, so you can come with a clean slate. So when somebody says, oh, inflation, this, and that, then you say, oh, well, that was Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. That's not us. And I would just say that I feel like Gavin Newsom is basically the Ron DeSantis of the Democratic Party. They kind of have the same baggage, but in the different parties where it's just different. So I feel like
it would be a bloodbath. I'm looking at a poll right here. They're saying that it'd be 48 to 45% if it was to run. I know it comes down to what the Electoral College says, but I mean, it's not looking good if it was to be Harris.
Right.
What about I seen something when they were talking about Mitch McConnell saying that he might run. Did you guys see that?
Mitch McConnell run against who?
As a
Democrat?
Yes.
What?
I think I saw somebody say that. Somebody did say that.
Yeah, he say because he's registered as an independent, but he said that he might re-register as a Democrat so he can run against her.
Maybe do a unity ticket. Have him as the VP.
Mitch McConnell?
Yeah, that's what I see. He
has one foot in the damn grave too.
Yeah, I seen it.
Oh, so what do y'all think about Trump now being the old candidate?
I don't think it changes anything. He's still. Yeah, I don't think the age is the age thing.
Yeah,
what I'm hearing.
Go ahead.
Alex Jones has been right about a lot of things. Now I'm conspiracy hashtag. He claims that they're gonna have Hillary come and sweep in and save the day. What do you think about that, D?
To be her VP?
As either the main on the ticket or possible VP, he's saying.
No, I think there's one thing that I like in this situation right now, that the Democrats have gotten themselves in a really, really slippery slope, is anything that you guys do to Kamala, you risk throwing your whole party away. Because now, since we love DEI, we love black women, we love inclusion, we love all that stuff, right? So now if you try to bypass her and put somebody else who's not a person of color, you guys are screwed. You are screwed. Because all over my timeline, I've been seeing a lot of black women, a lot of white
Yes,
women. They're all supporting her. They're all
going crazy.
girl power, all this great stuff. The first black female president, and they're going to be very, very upset with you guys if you guys try to high step her. So I just want to see how this plays out, man.
Me too.
Well, I've been seeing different things on my timeline about Kamala Harris. They going in.
Like what?
Saying how she's not a black woman, how she doesn't live a black life, how she got her start. And I guess they keep showing the clip of her with Montel Jordan hanging out with him. Let me show you the clip. Pretty much people going in. Like, I mean, it's borderline kind of mean at this point. I mean, and a little impersonal. Like, you see the clip? Can y'all see my screen?
Yeah, we see it.
This was them hanging out.
Including in 2001, former talk show host Montel Williams. Back then, he was the famous one and had to introduce her to the paparazzi.
This was her ex-boyfriend. They just keep showing that clip over and over again. And among other things that they've accused her of, which we'll go into in our takedown tomorrow.
Yeah, I didn't know she was 59.
I thought she was older.
No, I think she's 59. She looks very good for her age. Very good, Kamala. You got that going for yourself.
You're a woman. I mean, and I talked about this with someone today. I said I identify the most with Kamala Harris personally, but for me it's hard because she's so problematic. And yeah, she's 59. She did such a terrible job as the VP. She had one job, the border,
Yes.
and that's the number one thing why I think the Democrats are going to lose this time.
She had two jobs. She had voting rights too.
Did you guys see Trump's video that he made attacking her?
No.
Oh my God, it's so great.
Is it on Twitter? Is it on X?
Probably. Just look for the Kamala, Trump Kamala. I don't know.
Yeah.
Ad maybe. Yeah, the moment that she was confirmed to be the person he was running against, like hours later, they had the ad ready, already running.
It seemed like he.
Oh, I found it. It's a short video. You want me to play it?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes.
Okay. What were you saying, Gray, while I said that?
I forgot. Just go ahead and play. I forgot what I was even about to say.
Okay, sorry. Here you go.
In on it. She covered up
Y'all
Joe's
see?
obvious mental decline.
Yeah.
Our president is in good shape, good health, tireless, vibrant, and I have no doubt about the strength of the work that we have done.
But Kamala knew Joe couldn't do the job, so she did it. Look what she got done. A border invasion, runaway inflation, the American dream. They created this mess. Can
you expand it?
Kamala owns this failed record. Make America Great Again Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
Wow.
Yeah, what a great video.
What a great video.
Yeah, she lied. She was in power the whole time. Joe couldn't run anything. She did all this. The economy, it was Kamala. The border, that was Kamala. Everything. See, I mean, what you said about just throw away the whole ticket, that would have definitely been my plan. We're going to get rid of all that stuff and throw away both of them and get me a new candidate up here.
Right.
And we just blame everything on them. But you can't do that now because you're stuck with her. Now you can't do that.
That's what I keep telling you, though. Gavin is the only one I think that would give him a run.
D. White just reminded me what I was going to say. Basically, Trump is still attacking Joe Biden on Truth Social, even though Joe Biden resigned. I think it's going to be like, I know they're putting out ads attacking Kamala Harris, but I feel like Donald Trump is just so invested with the crooked Joe Biden. They brought up all these cases against me. His typical storyline. I think it's going to be so hard for him to shift it and say Kamala Harris, because Kamala Harris was ineffective. I mean, like, I'm a Democrat and I'm sitting here saying she was horrific. She couldn't even do anything.
She's problematic at best.
Kamala Harris, please step aside. This is a Democrat asking you to.
Did you see what's trending on Twitter?
No, what was it?
The odds, Trump return highly odd. Predictions favor Trump's return.
Oh, y'all think he's gonna drop out? Is what you're saying?
No, I think he's gonna win, hands down. It's gonna be a 40 to 60 win.
Yeah, she's talking about the betting odds. The betting odds is Trump making it back. Yeah, making it back to the White House. Probably went up super high now.
I think it's like she gained 1 point. I think Joe Biden was down 3. She's like, what'd you say, 48 something?
I mean,
she was better. She did better polling than Joe Biden, I think.
Yeah, by one point.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, D, you're right. Newsweek did a poll, and Gavin Newsom would lose 34 to 60.
Yes, I'm telling you.
34 to 60?
Yes. Yeah, I didn't have those numbers, but right now it's simply because where America is as a country right now. Had it been 4 years ago, he probably would have mopped the floor with Donald Trump, maybe, but everybody's so charged up politically right now, and we see what's going on, and the things at the top of the ticket are inflation and immigration, and he failed at both of those miserably. So there's no way the American people will swallow that right now. No way.
I met another Black person that told me they're voting for Trump.
Yeah, I went on vacation this weekend. It was like 8 of us in a big Airbnb, and I wore this hat the whole time. and we had a lot of debates about politics and this and that, and everybody there except one person was African American. It was one Asian woman. Everybody else were African American. Some from the islands, some from Haiti, some from Jamaica, some from America. But we're all Black. Everyone there is voting for Donald Trump. Everybody. I was amazed to hear it. It made my soul glow a little bit.
Who's the Asian voting for?
Donald Trump. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
were there any bunny hoppers there? I'm just kidding. Because that's the whole argument. It shouldn't matter, but the point I'm making is, let us know what you think in the chat. In the chat, like, do you think that Kamala Harris stands a chance against Donald Trump at this point? Do you think that the DNC should throw out that ticket and start completely over? And who are you predicting as her VP choice? Great. Any closing words?
Like, share, comment, subscribe. Always vote. D White.
Always vote.
Always vote.